We are now in Cashier Park. We are in Cashier Park in Potchefstroom. We are with Freedom Front Plus leader, Mr. Pieter Mulder, who will be casting his vote now. He is just about to. He was standing on the queue like everybody else, and now he is ready to be coming in to cast his ballot.
Can I go through?
You can go through, sir.
Okay, thank you. My wife with me.
And he's got his better half with. He will be casting his ballot here at Cashier Park in Potchefstroom, and that is exactly what he is doing, interacting with IEC officials to check if his name does appear on the voters' roll, and that has been done. And he's getting that elusive black mark that you can only get when you're a registered voter and you are voting in these elections. And he is now going to to where he will be receiving the ballot papers and proceeding to make his mark like every other South African who has woken up early morning, and that has been the situation in Potchefstroom. From early morning, we've seen people queuing up in different polling stations, and this polling station in Cashier Park was no different. People have been queuing from early morning, and now it's Dr. Mulder's time, and he is there at the booth. His vote is his secret, and he has done it. He has voted, he has put his mark. Now he's just about to dunk the yes, and down they go. Down they go. That's Dr. Mulder of the Freedom Front Plus, who is going outside, and we're going to be talking to him now. Dr. Mulder?
Yes.
You've just cast your ballot now. How optimistic are you about smaller parties and how they're going to fare in these elections?
In our electoral system, there will always be 10 parties, there will always be smaller parties, and they're very important because they play a specific role carrying the interest of certain people that want the interest being heard in Parliament. I think that's part of a mature democracy, if you can do that, and therefore I think it's important, and I'm convinced the Freedom Front will do better. There's no doubt in my mind this time, yeah.
And you have spoken about coalition and, being in coalition with other parties. Is that still the way to go for the Freedom Front Plus?
Well, that's the way of the system. At the moment, the system doesn't work because the ANC get more than 50%. If you study the system proportional, the biggest party normally gets 40, 45, and then coalitions become very important, and within the future, that will become more and more. And that's where you can look after the interest of your voters, fighting for them, taking them in there, and part of a coalition, you can force it onto the legislature, whatever. And I think we played that role for a long time, and we'll continue to play that role, and I think a lot of people start understanding that, yeah.
You've heard it from Dr. Pieter Mulder, who is the leader of the Freedom Front Plus, and he's been voting, or he has voted here in Cashier Park.
Yeah.
And back to the studio.
Yeah, all our reporters are working very hard there. Solofelo Matiberi down in Potchefstroom, where the Freedom Front leader, Pieter Mulder, Dr. Pieter Mulder, has just made his mark and voted in this general election here in South Africa. With us in